Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much. It's me, Purple Haze. As you can tell, I am not in Purple Haze land. So as some of y'all know, I traveled this week to come down to Mama Haze land. As you can tell, she's way more creative and decorative than I ever will be. Like these are like white trees behind me, but I will be driving back up to the land of New York over the weekend. So wish me luck as I do this like 1,700 mile drive. But before I jump into that, I just want to say special shout out to chat. First person I see is Rouster. Thank you so much, Rouster, for coming on by. And Rouster, I got your messages. I have not been playing because I've been traveling all week, so I need to get into Metrovania games, especially the one you talked about. I've heard a lot about it. It's like the Soul one. I think that said Soul. Either way, we'll talk more about that. What's up, Corey? What's up, Rudix? Ambi, how are y'all? Before more M's, oh my gosh. What's up, David Wilson? Thank you all for coming on, because in my opinion, today's show is super special. Not only am I in Mama Haze land, no worries, you're probably not going to see Mama Haze. You may see Mama Haze's dog if she's running around here, so no promises on that. She may come knock me over at any time. But we are interviewing today, in my opinion, one of the most entertaining people that we have in the community, whether he's playing a game, streaming on someone else's stream as a panel, or just in chat, always bringing the fire and the energy. And it is my pleasure to bring on to this show one of my favorite content creators in the community, none other than Obi Rose Kenobi. What is up, Obi Rose? Oh, let me do this.
What is going on? It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for coming on. And as always, like I start going and my phone starts going off, all sorts of things. I got my aunt is pinging me. I'm like,
hold on. Wait a minute. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but you said your phone started going off. Is it an iPhone or is it an Android? That's all I need to know. I'm like Mark Anthony right now. I need to know.
You need to know. Maybe if you sing the rest of that verse, I'll tell you what type of phone I have.
Tell me, baby girl, cause I need to know. Die me low. Don't leave me on die me low.
He did the harmony and everything in that. Okay. Well, with that said, oh man, what's up? Oh man, we have Rebellica, Legend, Lethal, Doc, what is going on? Thank you all so much for the support coming on. So in Jinx, all right, so what I have in my hand is a phone. Can you tell what it is by this angle?
That is not an iPhone. We got to talk about this.
It's a Pixel.
After, you know what? After stream, you and I, we talking, and we going to get you one of these. Well.
What is that? All I see is black.
It's an iPhone.
Oh my god. Look at us, we're both of us probably are personal. You're like, oh my god, I put that down. So I saw a number, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta put that one down. Oh my god. Chariot Man, what's going on? Justin, what's going on? Ryzak, yo, what is up? Alright, so here we are, getting into it. We're already starting it off spicy here, you know. So Obi Rose Kenobi. What the hell does Obi Rose Kenobi mean?
Like,
I'm dead serious.
Oh God, I love it.
I'm telling you, today. I said Obi-Wan, and I was like, no, it's not Obi. It's Kenobi. Who are you? Who are you?
All right, so check it out. So there was a point in time in my life when I was a kid, right? And I was like this skinny little punk who used to just get beat up all the time. And we were cool and we were geeks and we liked Star Wars. So we had this thing where everybody who was in the crew, they had a Star Wars name. Like my one boy's name was Count D. There was multiple people. My name was Obi Rose Kenobi. So what ended up happening is when Xbox came out and, you could get like Xbox Live, my original gamer tag was Metallica Freak. And like, if you came into a lobby across Metallica, listen. So I'm going to be all over the place. It's going to be wild. Like, cause this is the way my brain runs. Like we're here and then we're going to make a stop here. And all right, this is so I got to remember about the Metallica Freak Obi Rose thing. So, all right, so check this out. So my name was Metallica Freak because I'm a musician and I play guitar, and like Metallica, while they're not my favorite band, I always talk about Metallica like they're my favorite band. But at one point in time, I could play their whole catalog. And so like my whole thing was like Metallica. Yeah, that's it. Metallica, everything. Metallica. That was me. So my Xbox gamer tag was Metallica Freak. Then when PlayStation 3 came out, I got a gamer tag, but it was like horrible and nobody cared about it.
Okay, what was it? Because I
don't remember it on PlayStation 3, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you. But I do know this. On PlayStation 4, you were finally able to change it. And so I changed it to Obi Rose Kenobi. And I was like, I'm sticking with it. I don't care. That's what it is. If anybody doesn't like it, I don't care. And then I was like, oh, man, video game gods, please don't let anybody have Obi Rose Kenobi taken. And it wasn't taken. And I was like, yeah. So I took it and I ran with it. And yeah.
You kept it. So, you already sang a little bit of Mark Anthony, right? A little earlier. Can we get like a little Inner Sandman? Can you do that? Come on.
Wait a minute. Where do you want to start from? Little one, don't forget my son to include everyone.
Oh my God! We hadn't known this. Can you do the inner like you do that?
Okay, what is that? Hold on. Exit light and tonight, take my hand off to Never Land.
Oh my gosh, y'all are here right now. I had no idea. We had musical atrocities. What are you? This is gold. This is gold. Okay, so that's where Obi Rose Kenobi was born. Too embarrassed to tell us your original gamer tag. I know for real he is. Hey Lion, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a second, Lion. Thanks for stopping by. He is lethal. This is your boy going live like right now. Well, with that said, all right. So Metallica. So we can already assume that you're either like a late 70s baby, early 80s baby, if you're saying Metallica, right? That's the only group we say. It's a little after my time, but don't want to age myself on this one.
No, 26, 26, y'all. 26,
oh my gosh. I think Cammy can probably eyeball my age. Cammy's been around a second.
What are you talking about? Cammy, 25. You and Cammy talking about New York City like y'all twinning it up. Like, are you serious? Y'all belong on an episode of Sex in the City. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my God, maybe we are on episode. Early 21st. Oh my, Rouser. Oh my, y'all are too kind. No, as I was telling Obi, I was telling someone, my role model for aging is Raquel Welch. If I can look like Raquel Welch at her age, I'm golden. I think Raquel Welch is so gorgeous. So that is hopefully I can look like that when I'm her age. Perhaps my age. Oh, come on, Doc. Doc, come on. Doc, I think I was babysitting you and burping you at one time,
So this funny because everybody tells me I have a look-alike. They tell me I look just like Brad Pitt from right here.
Rock show. Oh my God. Oh, Brad Pitt. Oh my God. I wouldn't. I don't see what's. It's not. I don't. It's not Brad Pitt for me. But you look a little better. A little better. Brad Pitt's has been right. Welcome, Rock Show. Thank you for staying up all the way. Severin, I see you there. But I saw you there, Rock. Y'all are funny. I always have to re-watch these shows to catch what's in chat. Because there's golden stuff. Yeah. The puns are ridiculous.
Chat is always lit. I'm not going to lie. Like,
your chat,
I love your chat so much. It's awesome. They go in and
they bring it. I love it. Like, come on, Lethal. Not
He just mad because he can't look this good. That's all it is. That's all it is.
So, all right. So here we are. So, if I guess right, you're somewhere in that late 70s, early 80s, maybe mid 80s at the latest. I guess, or at the earliest. But either way, so where are we? We're Atari, and yes, are you like David Wilson, who just started gaming during like PS3? Joking, David Wilson did start in NES. I remember you. Go ahead.
So I started video gaming, you can say 89, 90. My years are going to be a little bit off, but I remember we had an Atari, and I remember that because we had the E.T. game, and it had a joystick. I remember the joystick didn't work, and I think that was when my dad, literally, that was, yeah, okay. So I could have swore there was a Michael Jackson game with that, though, but it's a little foggy, but I do remember.
The Michael Jackson game, now, there might be some. So I remember a Michael Jackson game, and it would play Smooth Criminal in it, but it was a Sega Genesis game. So I'm not sure. I might be mistaken.
Now, it is possible. I will say this. It is possible that I am getting it confused because, so it's really weird. 1989 to 1991 is young years for me. And I remember a constant loop of even watching MTV, and you would have Michael Jackson playing, and you see the Billie Jean video and the Smooth Criminal video and the all his hits, and then the Mariah Carey video would come on. It'd be Oleta Adams, so it's a mix of all types of stuff.
Oh my gosh, so I'm thinking,
I feel like it might be clashing. I just remember Mariah Carey's video. Someday she's on the beach, and I'm I'm gonna marry her, and I'm trying to
go for it. Go. Mariah needs some love.
No, listen. Let me tell you something. No, I know people are going to tell me I'm crazy. No, it won't happen between me and Mariah. Absolutely not. She got to figure that out. She got some things she got to work out.
Don't put my channel banned because Mariah knows a lot of people.
I know, right? Hey, Mariah, you want to have a conversation? We can do that, but
You ever go up against the Mariah fan crew? So there's the Rihanna fan crew. There's the Beyonce fan crew, and I can fight them. Y'all think console war people are crazy? These people are crazy. You go up against Mariah fan crew people, people who ride or die with Mariah. They will ride and die for Mariah. I learned that the hard way. I went to a Mariah Carey concert with Lionel Richie, and I said one bad thing about her, it was game.
Everybody's ready to kill you.
It was game over.
That was wild.
It was game over. Lionel Richie brought it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like Mariah's early stuff. Rouster, I think 99% of people would say they liked Mariah's early stuff. Because Mariah's recent stuff, I don't even think Mariah knows she's doing it. She's just there.
She gotta let it go. Listen, this is how I knew it was over for Mariah. When she started doing Hallmark movies, I was like, ouch. I mean, I'll probably never make that kind of money, so I'm not jealous. If I got cast in a Hallmark movie, great. Let's everybody watch it. I could use the help, right? But I didn't have a crazy singing career and end up there. That's all I'm saying. I ain't mad at it.
Crazy is the key word in that statement. But enough about Mariah, because we're here for
okay. I told you I could do this. I don't mean to.
I'm not. She talks to dolphins. Well, with that said, all right. So you played this. You're playing Atari. Now, is that where the bug bit you, or to be a gamer, or were you just kind of in the motions? last show we had, and special shout out to everybody who participated and celebrated a holiday last week, whether that's Thanksgiving or some other holiday or just being around family. Shout out, I know I missed a week, but hopefully you enjoyed your time off. But with that said, so where did you like really start getting into gaming? Were you just handed consoles, like ISO motion gaming was handed? Or did you have a touching story about grandma, like mostly Martinez? How did you steal it like Dark 1985? How did you start gaming?
So this is actually really cool. So we got the Nintendo, and Nintendo was a cool thing. And then I remember my brother ended up getting Super Nintendo for Christmas. And I was like, yay, we got a Super Nintendo, and we're like playing Mario. Well, then he ended up getting Mortal Kombat, which is how I ended up getting into Mortal Kombat. And my mom didn't really care. It was kind of just like, yo, they're quiet. Let them be. Well, we ended up getting a Sega Genesis because I was a skinny kid and like people would pick on me. So this kid was picking on me. And as he's picking on me, like, no lie, I tell my bigger brother, and my bigger brother, I love him, but he's a nut job. I'm not even making that up. He's a nut job. He is military.
What branch?
He's an army man.
Okay, right branch. As long as you know that is the military. As long as it's not the weak sauce Navy or something like that, we're good.
So I'm like the only screw up because like I'm the only person who didn't go military, and I'm like I can deal with that. I can handle that. Like you're not ever yelling at me. I don't care who you are, where you're from. Like you need to take that somewhere, and you need to deal with your emotions because I'm not getting yelled at in boot camp. In fact, I probably would have been murdered. 2, I didn't start any of these fights. There's no reason for me to be there. Now, I'm grateful for anybody who has served because I appreciate my freedom. I'm definitely afraid of guns. So me and guns don't mesh well. I could never pick up a gun. I'm making lighthearted jokes, but seriously, I do not mess with guns at all. So anybody who can do that, God bless you. Thank you for your service as well, ma'am. I appreciate it. Because I ain't doing it. It's that simple. I'm not doing it. All right? Like,
we got people who served. We got anti-war protesters. We come together because of gaming. You know, it's okay. Y'all know, I got to represent Army Strong there. But supporting the Army team. But go ahead.
So this kid was picking on me, and so my brother went and knocked on his door and beat him up. Like literally beat him up. Walked in his house and stole a Sega, and that's how we ended up with Sega Genesis. And like I started playing Sonic, and the next thing you know,
wait. You skip. What? So say this again. Say this slow this down, because like I was processing something and you said something. Say what you just said again.
So my brother knocked on some dude's door who was bullying me. Well, at that time, he was really picking on me. It's not the bullying today. He was bullying me, and my brother knocked on his door. He beat him up. He walked in his house, and he took his Sega and was like, mess with my brother again, and I'll be back.
And that's how you got a Sega Genesis.
Exactly how we got a Sega Genesis. But that only lasted for like 2 months because my mom was like, yo, you need to go take that back. So it was. I
am so amazed at the stories about where people get their consoles. Because you wrote, like, there's all these sorts of consoles, like stories, right? Like, Holt, who's in chats, he was kind of like this weird gamer person at the arcade, always just giving kids money to play games. You know, he would say it's weird. But then you have someone like Primo, who, like, somehow got money to get a thing. We've never heard someone actually say they knocked on the door. I like how you for legal reasons have said I did not do anything. I was a bystander.
Listen, I may be bigger now, but I was always like 120 pounds soaking wet until like the age of 26. And then like literally overnight, I sprouted into this. I'm not even making like, we literally have pictures from like week to week. It was like, yo, you just keep getting bigger out of nowhere. I couldn't have no idea what happened. But I'm not confrontational at all. I'm like the big gentle giant. If you're like, hey, put your hands up. Hey, they're up, man. Life's too short, bro. Like whatever you need. If I got to walk home naked because you want these clothes, I'm cool with it. You can have it all. Listen, life is too short. Life is too short to catch a bullet over it.
I cannot condone the behavior on this channel. We have talked about knocking on doors and jumping people. We have talked about walking down the street without clothes. This conversation is full of like things I do not condone. More power to y'all for the freedom. What is up, Primo? See, Sanchez, what is going on? It's just borrowing, not stealing. Oh my god. Okay, so you give back the Sega Genesis, right? You all give it back because your mom realizes like we cannot do that. You have the NES and your Mortal Kombat. So was Mortal Kombat like your game throughout?
Okay, so I'm sure you remember the 90s, like, well, at least the way I remember the 90s. So I come from a single family home, and thank God for my stepdad. I don't call him my stepdad, but for purposes now on the show, I'll say my stepdad, but I love him. That's my rock. That's my dude. And before he came in the picture, we were in a single family home. And so we just had Super Nintendo and not Sega anymore, but we had Super Nintendo. And what ended up happening was my mom could only really afford Mortal Kombat and Super Mario. So for like years, that was the only game we had. And it was like, if we got a new game, it was because either a friend let us borrow one, or we could go to the video game store if we got a quarter for doing our chores the correct way. And if you got a blue gumball, what would happen is you can get a free video game rental. And we got 2 gumballs, and we rented like the worst games ever. We rented Lion King, which was, I don't want to hear how good this game was. It is like the hardest game.
No, I've said this before. Lion King is the hardest ever. Like I never have seen past like the second level, except
like,
on
I don't get it. Like that, I think. Oh, we rented Aladdin. We would rent. I'm lying. 3 games because Disney
games are real hard.
Yeah, they really are. They like we had the code though, which I don't know how we had the code, the stage. So like that made no sense. Like how did they come out with codes back? But we had it to fly the carpet, and then we rented some like Nintendo game that was like dirt bike-ish, and it would play like the song Born to Be Wild. But they couldn't call it Born to Be Wild. But you know,
I love Nintendo.
I don't remember the name of that game, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, we did that. And then I want to say it was 95 was when, what was it, PlayStation 1 came out? And my brother
PlayStation came 94, and then 64 came like a year later. But it's all around that time, yeah.
Okay. So my brother wanted you know, the PlayStation thing, right? And this is like super cool because like they got like CDs and stuff, and we're like, oh shoot, yo, we're in the future. We got CDs and CD players. And my mom was like, my mom, she ended up dating my stepdad or my dad. And what ended up happening is like, yo, I love this guy because I just love this man. He's like everything a dad should be, right? Comes in, takes 2 kids that aren't even his, and he raises them. But he hits us with a bombshell, and he's like, if you want the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64, you got to get good grades. And we're like, good grades? We're kids. We deserve this. And he's like, listen, I said what I said. So we ended up both getting what we wanted, the PlayStation and Nintendo 64. And that was kind of where like we ended up moving into a house, and my brother would be in his room with his PlayStation. I would be in my room with my Nintendo 64. This is like fast forward like 96, 97. And it was really cool because he'd be playing like football and I'd be playing like Blitz, or he'd be playing like football and I'd be playing like Mario Kart. And then he wouldn't play his PlayStation at all. And I would go in there and sneak and steal his PlayStation. He stop touching my stuff. I'm going to beat you the F up. And yeah, he literally beat me up. Like, I'm not making that up. I have been beat up for less with my brother. I'm being dead serious. I stole his freaking jersey one day. I'm about to throw his name out there. I wore his jersey to hike to a dance because I wanted to impress some chick, and I came home and got beat up the next day. What kind of brother are you? That actually happened. That's
okay. So who's bigger now? Are you bigger than your brother?
Oh, I knocked my brother out right now. He knows that.
Oh my gosh, I love this. It's so
I'm sorry, bro. If you happen to see this, I don't mean that, bro. I'm not gonna tell you. I would listen. I'm telling you right now. My brother's. I know some stuff that he's done for the military. That's all I'm going. I wouldn't listen. If I saw my brother, I'm being dead serious. I know I'm not trying to hype the dude up. I'm being serious. I would just walk away. I'd be like, bro, this is not it. I don't fight. I'll start preaching a Bible verse to that man. And the Lord Jesus, I'm so serious. Like, I'm not messing with him.
Well, but I'm not going to say anybody ever wore a jersey to go pick me up at a dance or impress me. But, I would have been impressed if that had happened. So, question. Mm-hmm. Was it worth?
No. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I called hell for no reason. That's what you know what?
She wasn't impressed? She wasn't impressed?
Absolutely not. Nope. You can't be impressed when you show up with the black eye, you can barely walk because your kneecap is broke. It was bad. I'm being so serious. It was bad. My brother beat the life out of me. So I had to learn two valuable lessons that day. One, if I stay in the house, I should get good at video games because I'm not showing my face. That like you can't. And it was crazy because there was like, I call like all the people from the bus stop. I'm like, I'm gonna beat this dude up. He shows up and he just drops me in my own front yard. Yeah, it was bad, man. I got beat up a lot. I got beat up a lot. Like, it was bad. But the one thing was, so listen, I gotta say this. He did redeem himself one day. So this dude, once again, I'm in the 7th grade. Some dude is bullying me. And what does my brother do? The kid shows up. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat the kid up in front of the house. What does my brother do? He pulls the kid out of the car and just beats him up in front of our house. I'm not making this up. Stomped him out. And I'm just like, really? Kid never messed with me.
Hey, so, I mean, take it the good with the bad, the good with the, shout out to older brothers and sisters out there. If you have multiple ones, I have an older brother. He sometimes watches the shows. He sometimes lurks. He's been in chat a few times. But shout out to them because they do a lot. But shout out to the younger sibling too, because we usually learn, become smarter and bigger eventually. True story.
I love him. I love him. I'm not gonna lie, I love him. But you know what? I'll say this. He kind of helped. So this is crazy. So like, you get older and like you start to break away from your family. Well, I'll never forget. I graduate 8th grade, and this is kind of where like my video game journey, I guess, in a sense, was like at a crossroads. Because like you want money, you want to impress girls, you want your own clothes, you want to be able to buy a car, you want all this stuff, right? You want to do all that. And it's like, well, how can I do this? Well, what ended up happening was my brother, he came to me and he's like, listen, if you graduate 8th grade, I'll buy you a video game. And I'm like, yeah, right. And he got this job and he's working and I graduated. And I mean, cool, I graduated. And he's literally like, let's go get the video game. And I was like, oh, snap, this dude's really going to buy the video game. So I literally stayed in practice. It was Mortal Kombat 4. And I'll never forget that. I literally stayed in the house and practiced that all summer. The following year, I ended up getting a job. And that's when video games kind of went on a hiatus for me because I was like, I don't really know anybody who plays. Gaming isn't quite what I thought it was going to be because it was the Dreamcast. So my dad bought me a Dreamcast and I want to say it was 1999, 2000. And I thought Dreamcast was one of the best things that had ever touched God's land. And so I had envisioned, listen.
No, so I asked this question before. I asked this question to Vet Cloud Gaming, right? I swear, everybody who played Stadia bought a Dreamcast. It seems to be a trend that we just buy dying systems. But why, in your opinion, was the Dreamcast amazing?
I remember when I got my Dreamcast, I'm not even making this up, right? And on the back of the Dreamcast, there is this like Ethernet cable. And I'm like, I wonder what this is for. Oh my God, can I really connect to the internet? So in my brain, I'm like, this is going to be the coolest thing ever. I'm going to be able to connect to other Dreamcast users. We're going to play Sonic. We're going to play House of the Dead. Oh my God, we're going to play this fighting game and NFL Blitz and NFL 2K and Jerry Moss is on the cover and this is going to be epic. Like I'm losing my mind. And that is why Dreamcast is the best system to ever grace God's green earth. It's simple. Everything that we have right now, even cloud gaming, even that's all product of Dreamcast and the possibility of what it was supposed to be. It didn't turn out that way because there's this thing called competition in PlayStation, and you just can't beat Sony. I mean, you remember Best Buy in like the 90s? It was Sony this, Sony. You go there now, it's still Sony everything. The closest thing to it is like Samsung now.
Like when I walk down Times Square, PlayStation.
you cannot beat Sony. Like, yo. So
they do a good job. I'm not gonna lie, they do a good job. I have I have an analyst at work. She just bought a PlayStation. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. And so, so I hear you. I hear you. All right. So you kind of aged early by saying you go to work and you're like, gaming's not what you thought it was going to be. You don't have time gaming. Sounds like an adult already, right? We have a lot of us are like, I talk to my girlfriends about gaming and they're like, they want to talk to me about baby pictures. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. I can do baby pictures, but we got to talk about gaming too. That's why Cammy and I get along. But either way, so with that said, No, I'm not. I'm good. She living. Severin, what is wrong with you? Gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh, these Georgians. But either way, so you start. So obviously you kind of got busy, right?
Yeah.
Around Dreamcast, PlayStation 2 is coming out. Xbox One is kind of coming out. Did any of this bring you back into gaming, or were you always a little bit?
So I ended up. I want to say it was the year 2000. It was the year that the Slim Shady LP dropped. Or no, the Marshall Mathers LP, because I was like, yo.
Oh my! We're talking about music so much. If you mention this, I remember when it came out. You know what I'm going to ask you. You're a singer. You're a performer.
Okay.
Give us your best rendition of this LP that dropped.
The Marshall Mathers LP? Oh, I can't. I don't really curse that much anymore. I will say this. Yo, that album is good. The Marshall Mathers
album is good.
Seriously, like everything on it. Okay, so like I didn't understand the song "I Am" until like I was like 21, and I was like, oh snap, I get it. And like his whole rap flow. I sit back with this pack of zigzags in this bag of this weed that gives needed to be the most meanest MC on this surface. This birth, I've been cursed with this curse to just curse and just blurt, just massage that hurts. So it's like, yo, right? It's like going in, right? And I'm like, yo, this is sick. And then like you move. You know what's cool about that album? There's only the only album. So that album only gets one skip for me, and it's BITCH Please Part 2. I don't like that song. Every other song on that album, like the way it opens, it's when I was just a little baby boy, my mama used to tell me these crazy things. She used to tell me that my daddy was an evil man. She used to tell me he hated me. But then I got a little bit older and I realized she was the crazy. That was like the craziest stuff anybody had ever heard at that time. It was so groundbreaking, so revolutionary. And it's like, yo, this dude is wild. So I remember that album being out. It was kind of a tough time in my life for me, but I was only like 16. And I go to my boy's house. He was my best friend at the time. I'm going to leave his name out for all intents and purposes. We don't really talk that much anymore, but he's doing really good. And I go to his house, and he does the craziest thing ever. He goes, yo, man, my mom got me the PlayStation 2. And I'm like, yo, they got a PlayStation. Like, I kind of was out of it.
Like, what happened?
I was like, yo,
we were calling it like we would have just new name, but they called it like 2. I remember that.
And so he goes, he's like, yo, you gotta play this game. It's called Metal Gear Solid 2. And I'm like, bro, man, not that I got real responsibilities, but I'm like, yo, I gotta go to work. I don't got time to play this. So he's like, listen, just chill, just sit here, just watch. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm watching him play Metal Gear Solid 2, and he's literally at the part. He's at the part where all the Marines are standing inside of the Navy ship. And yo, shame on you if you haven't played this game yet. You want to know why? Because I'm not spoiling this. This is not a spoiler. If you don't know this about this game, that's on you. All right. So all the Marines are standing there, and you gotta like skip by them without raising your little, ding over their head. And like if you get one, like all 500 just ding, and it's like, yo, I suck this bad at this game. So like he kept getting it to like go off, and I was like, man, I got this. So I literally snuck through and then did what I had to do, and then like boom, it was like clockwork, this cutscene. And like, this dude shows up and he's like, Shalahaskas, aka Revolver Ocelot. And he's like spinning like revolvers and crap. And he's like, yo, he's taking like 500 Marines. It's one dude. And he's taking like 500 Marines. And to make matters better, it's a machine. It's Metal Gear. He's like, yo, I'm stealing this and I'm out. And I was like, yo, I'm hooked. And that's exactly how I like stayed with video games ever since. Because I was like, I'm playing every Metal Gear from now on.
Oh my gosh. Metal Gear brought you back. That's when franchises were created. Now we just remaster and remake. Or we just Actually, what is it? What is it, y'all? Y'all always hate on PlayStation for this. They say they remake, but they actually do a remaster. And when they do a remaster, they actually just update the colors. That's what they say. That's what people say. Yeah, no, I don't want to get into it. But that's
The brand new 2025 Corvette.
yeah, no, that's what they
It's got
said.
a paint job and it's been detailed.
Oh my god! So brought you into gaming, early 2000s, or mid. We're kind of going the mid 2000s, right? We got you. This is PlayStation 2 era. And if I'm not mistaken, you stick into gaming, and you go all the way up into like now we're into the PlayStation 3 era, the Xbox 360 era, right? Like that's where we're at. Things are heating up, right? And if I'm not mistaken, it's around the same time like things started heating up in your life as well.
Yeah, so it's crazy because, all right, so after PlayStation, like the PlayStation 2 era was there, I got introduced to God of War. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to play God of War, good video game series. But at the same time, I had a regular Xbox, and I also got introduced into Ninja Gaiden. And so I was like, yo, this is going to be amazing. I'm always going to have an Xbox. I'm always going to have a PlayStation. I'm always going to buy either or. So I had the PlayStation. I'm probably about like 19, 20 at this time. I ended up getting married through the better. Listen, I got some advice for all y'all. Don't get married when you're like 18, 19. I'm not hating on the marriage. Listen, me and her, we're good friends now, but it's not something you should do. But I will say this. I met you know what's crazy? I met like one of my best friends, my wife, through this. And what ended up happening was I ended up getting a PlayStation 3 because of my wife, my current wife now. She actually went out and got me one as a birthday present. And it's crazy because it was the weirdest birthday ever. So not bringing up a bad situation in my time, but on my birthday, I ended up getting, check this out, I'm not even making this up. On my birthday, I ended up getting my divorce papers and a PlayStation 3.
Wait, so your former wife got you a PlayStation and divorce papers?
No. My current wife.
Got you, the new wife got you while the old wife did the divorce papers.
Yeah. So my old wife, she wanted to have a family with somebody else. So that's okay. Like people grow apart. So she went and did her thing. Nothing wrong with that, right? And so while she was away in another country, I ended up meeting my current wife. And like I was going through and we were just talking and I couldn't afford a PlayStation 3. And she was like, when's your birthday? So I told her my birthday and she was like, oh, okay, cool. And she ended up getting it for me for my birthday. And I got my divorce papers on the same day. And I was like, mother effer, like nobody can hate me anymore in life. Like F the world. I'm going to take this car and crash it into a bridge. I went, it was so, all right. So now you really got me talking. So I've been through some things in life. We all have. We all got some skeletons in our closet, but my skeletons are a little bit different than everybody else's. And here's why. Mine are not just bones, they're dust and bones. So like
he's a little fella.
Like my skeletons got skeletons. Because we all been through some things. We've all done some things. But I remember there's like a point in time where like all I would do was just, and when I say drink, I mean drink. I would put back, I'm not making this up. We would put back like liters of Jack. And when I say liters, I have a friend, I'm not making this up. So I don't suggest this, but I'll tell it. I had a friend and we're both going through something. And so what we would do is we would get together and we would play Super Mario World on Super Nintendo. And every time you would die, you would have to take a shot. We literally went through 2 bottles of Jim Beam. We started at like 11 o'clock in the morning and we didn't finish until like 10 o'clock at night. And listen, whoa. But you're right. It is dangerous. But it don't matter when you want to die. Like when you're just like, yo, I hate life. I don't care about nothing. Like, yeah, I was there. I mean, literally smoking like 5 packs of cigarettes a day. Like, and I'm not coming at anybody who smokes or drinks or anything like that. Like, we all got our demons that we got to deal with. But doing it at that, it was bad. I'm not even making this up. So like, I used to get paid pretty decently for what I did. And I'm not making this up. I would probably spend like $300 in alcohol. To make matters better, if you knew me when I was going through this divorce, all it was, I was a phone call away. Yo, Rose, we want to go to the club. Let's go. I was picking everybody up. I'm not making this up. If my wife is in the chat, I don't know if she's in the chat. She can attest to this. I actually almost ended up fighting an NFL player right after New Year's. Jonathan, I want to say his name is JTT. He used to play for the New York Giants. I want to say his name is. We go to the club one night. I'm wasted, but I'm not a mean bad drunk. I'm like a cool, fun, have fun, go lucky guy. And he literally bumps into me and he's like, "Oh, you don't know who I am?" And I'm like, "I don't give a who you are." And so like now I'm like trying to like be a man and like I push him and he pushed me and they step in between us. And like back then I said, I've never really been a fighter. And in my head, I'm like, oh God, if this dude swings on me, I'm gonna have to do something because I'm gonna get beat up. so it was like really, really bad, but it was really, really cool. But yeah, I used to drink like crazy. So I go back upstairs or whatever. I open up the PlayStation 3. And like I kind of just broke down and I started crying and I'm like, oh my God, like you didn't have to do this for me, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, I want to do it at the kindness of my heart, yada, yada, yada. And like right after that, I ended up getting, because I was not that I was falling away from video games. I was just kind of less like,
no, you're falling. Yeah.
Like I literally was spiraling and I'm like, what is the point of life? And I'm not pushing nothing on anybody before I make my next statement, but like I read the Bible a lot. I recognize we all got to go through something, right? But there's an author in the Bible, Solomon, and he says something. He's like, yo, life is meaningless. But if you don't understand what he's really trying to say, you can read that at a bad time in your life and it can cause you to fall even further. But at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I'm going to die one day. What is the point of even being here? Like if I died right now, nobody's going to care. Nobody even knows me. I got people that I went to school with. They don't give a crap about me. Nobody cares about me. I'm nothing. And that's kind of where I was. And thank you, Cindy, for being there. But my wife, she did everything she could to kind of help restore me and get me there. And it was a lot. But my point is, I'm falling away from games, and she kind of brought me back into it again. You'll never guess how she did it. You're not going to believe this. Metal Gear Solid 4.
Okay, so we just had someone mention Metal Gear
Solid. Yeah. So like, I'll never forget. So like, I'm kind of falling away from video games again because I'm a very hardworking person. And like my boss, he saw something in me and he came to me, he's like, yo, Rose, listen, you can do something really, really good here if you just stay focused. And I went through some like tough times. Like there were times, I'm not even making this up, there were times my boss had to literally drive to my house and pick me up because I was that drunk. Like I'm not happy to say that. Like he's knocked on my door like, yo, what I just put my neck on the line for you. What are you doing? And it took a lot to come through that, but we'll save that for another time. But this kid that I worked at the same place as me, he had Metal Gear Solid 4, and I wanted Metal Gear Solid 4, and he like let me borrow it. And then I believe she was the one who actually ended up getting it for me, and I like ended up keeping it. But it was cool because I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, another Metal Gear game. And we're about to have some fun. And like literally, it was the first game. I'm not even making, and I'm gonna say this. It's because I was in a very emotional state. Video games don't make me cry. I'm a man. No, I was in a very emotional state. And there's a scene where Raiden catches the boat and like the boat just demolishes him. And I literally, when I tell you I broke there and I broke in Gears of War. I want to say it's 2 when Dom dies and they start playing and the chords from Mad World come in. And because I'm literally still all right, so the divorce is over. Right. And not only is the divorce over, I'm kind of like settling in like, man, this is me. I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to have what I want. So like, I know the lyrics to Mad World by Tears for Fears. And I hear the chords. All around me are familiar faces. And I literally was just like, no.
That's too much. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking of it right now.
Everything in me like just broke. And I'm living at home with my mom. And my mom is, I'm not even making this up. My mom is like, she's smoking a cigarette at the time. And she's like, what is wrong? And like, she's being a concerning parent. And I'm like, and I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, Dom is dead. And she's like, boy, shut up. I'm like, all right, mom. And I'm trying to like, hold on, all right, mom. All right. But yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, I kind of mixed 2 stories together, but still, it is what it is. But yeah, so it was like really cool because I ended up playing Metal Gear Solid 4 and that scene happened. Oh, that's where I was going. So I cried during Metal Gear Solid 4 and I cried during Dom. So yeah, video games, they'll do that to you.
No, but I mean, I think that's the cool thing about games, and people who watch me stream, I always talk about like the experience of the game, like how it makes me feel. Like that is why I come back to it time and time again. So I love hearing about how, in a way, the emotional, like you were going through some stuff, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who went through a divorce or any type of relationship, like we're all human, we all have emotions, and you know, that's tough. But to hear that video games kind of like were able to also reach down and touch those emotions and in a way kind of bring you out of that, and to have someone, your current wife, be on that journey with you, I think is like, that's powerful, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's really really cool because so like there's sometimes she gets mad at me, right? And I listen, I wasn't always the nice. So listen, let me tell you a bad story about me. I kind of got a mouth. I don't mean to have a mouth, but sometimes sometimes things don't make sense. So I bought a motorcycle, and I remember one day, this is before we were married, she got mad at me. You love your bike more than me. And I was like, I didn't buy a bike to stare at it. I bought a bike to ride it. If you don't want me riding it, then guess what? You can leave. But like listen, I didn't listen. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. I've apologized for it. But I'm not always a nice guy sometimes, right? And listen, this is what I was going through it. But to have her there and to her understand, like I remember I'll say this. A lot of people say if they could go back and do it again, they would do things differently. I wouldn't. The only thing that I would change is I wouldn't drink as much. I would still go through it because I learned so much about myself. Like, one, you're going to get hurt. Two, if I could do it again, the only reason I wouldn't spend so much on drinking is because I would probably find comfort in video games. Like, I would play more video games. Literally, it's cheaper than going to the bar. Like, when I got into Dark Souls, I would watch, or I'd take my iPad and I would tether to my iPad and I would play Dark Souls while watching the football game because my boy would come over and we used to watch football like crazy. I don't watch football so much anymore, but my point is that's what I would do to play. And I'm like, this is cool. Like I can take my video games with me anywhere I go, which is why, so sad to say about Stadia, I love cloud gaming because I was like, this is going to be amazing. Like, I don't need hardware. Cool. I just need you guys to get Tekken 7 and I'm happy.
You are Tekken 7. I see you play Tekken all the time. It's the ones I actually catch most of the time. Yeah. So, you talked about somehow like how your mouth got you in trouble with your wife. In chat definitely was like, wow, you went there. You called her bluff and she called you your bluff. The way we were introduced to Obi Rose Kenobi was another person who many times their mouth gets them in trouble. And that is one and your mama knows, also known AKA the Cowboy. So y'all are actually friends in real life. Like y'all live relatively close. How did that friendship evolve? Like, how did you start streaming? How did he bring? Because I remember when you first started with Stadia, you were playing PlayStation, and you're like, I don't know, like what kind of games, and you would say like, oh, they have something for my kids. But how did you kind of come into the, some people call it the Stadia community, the cloud community. I personally just think it's a community of adult gamers. Right, but whatever we want to call it, the community. How did that relationship or your relationship with him and then him bringing you over, how did that all transpire?
So I've known Cowboy for a while. You've heard it many times. His wedding, I was in his wedding. He was in my wedding. I can't say it the way he says it. Listen, I know the dude. He's a cool, short man. I love him. All right, cool guy. All right, I didn't say that. I gotta pick at him. I gotta pick at him. He knows it. Because you know what? We may hold on. Check this out. So I got this thing this year, right? I'm not allowed to hear, and I'm sorry, guys, Mariah Carey fans, don't kill me. I am trying to go all Christmas season without hearing her song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I've done it so far, okay? So I told Cowboy I was going to go this whole interview. And we are 49 minutes in purple. And you're making me talk about Cowboy. It's messed up.
That's how I came across you.
So check it out. So I knew Cowboy from church, actually. He showed up at our church. We actually ended up at the same church at the same time. Then we kind of, not that we separated, but we could just, life happens, right? Kind of fall apart. Life happens. So one day, so about 2 years ago, I got the idea, because like I'm kind of like this sometimes. Like you can kind of see it, like this is how you see me, is like me. This is not an act. This is like literally me. Like people are like, oh, when you run into Tracy Morgan, that's him. I believe that because I know how I am. So it's like, all right, cool. So I'm like, man, like I've always felt like I had something in me that I wanted to share. And I'm like, man, I wish I could make people see video games, or at least, because like a lot of people, when I talk to them, they're like, yo, you're really hard to understand. I don't get you. And like that can kind of mess with me. So it's like, damn, I got to be the idiot. Like I'm trying not to be the smartest person in the room sometimes. And I'm not saying that I am the smartest person in the room, but it's like, yo, sometimes I say something really simple like, yo, the sun is yellow. No, it's really not sun. It's just vapors. But that's not what I'm trying to convey to you. I'm trying to convey to you that it's hot. And people like just look at me like, yo, you're crazy. And I'm like, I get it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like this. So I wanted to kind of bring that out in my video games. And I was like, yo, this is going to be really, really cool. I'm going to do some video games. So like literally like, there's like this one boss that I fight in Elden Ring, and like I do the ultra combo from Killer Instinct. Like it's on my TikTok. It's like literally I start beating him up and he's like ultra, and it's like really cool because when I was putting the video together, that's exactly what I was thinking as I was fighting him. And I was like, yo, this is epic. So let me share this with the world, and like everybody's gonna love it because it's Elden Ring. And then I did it, and it was like 1 view and like 2 view, and I was like, damn, I must really suck. like nobody, like no. Not even anybody in my family was like, hey, nice video, I'm gonna share this. And I was like, I guess that's why my music career didn't work. So I was like, you know what, whatever. So I was like kind of putting it down, and I was like, you know what, I need to cry out of this self-loathing crime bag of mess that I am and just be happy I'm alive and I can play video games. I like Elden Ring. Go Elden Ring. Even though I wanted to share it with the world, but go Elden Ring. And next thing you know, Cowboy hit me up and he was like, yo, you stream? And I was like, yeah, but because I do, but I don't. And he was like, yo, I think you should live stream. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm not ready for that. One, I'm not even set up for that. I thought like you had to have like thousands and thousands. And he's like, nah, you just need a computer and a microphone and you can do it. And I was like, yo, I got all that stuff you said. Can you show me how to do it? And he was like, yeah, I'll show you. And I was like, so before I do anything, I like to test it like 3 or 4 times to make sure it works. Make sure I don't have any hiccups. And we did that. And he was like, hey, I'll be there for your first stream and rock on. He was like, just show the people who you really are. And he was like, and they're going to come to you. They're going to flock to you. They're going to love you. And I was like, no, man, I'm not you. Like, people don't like me. They tell me I'm dumb. Like, people like you. People come and talk to you and sit on your platform. They're not going to do that with me. And I'm finding out that I was wrong. People come and hang out and chill on a platform. And I think that's like really, really cool. And I'm like, yo, this is awesome. So thank you, Cowboy, for, showing me how to stream. And I try to put it out there. My whole thing now is just to try to cause people to have fun because, in the world we're living in, there's so much hate out there. And it's like, yo, I don't want anybody to go to bed at night and not have an opportunity to smile. It's like, just gotta
I love the timing of your statement about Cowboy. You're like about to give him this romance hug, and then he just says, he's dumb.
My favorite romance. I know, right?
He's like, he's dumb. It's like the perfect timing for Cowboy. It's like he was about to give you. Cowboy was about to give you your moment.
I'm mad at him. He's cool. He's cool. No, we're not talking about fighting Cowboy. I wish I knew fighting Cowboy. That's my dude. He don't know he's my dude.
Oh my gosh, no, but shout out to all the streamers in chat. So we have big streamers in chat. Shout out to the to Rock Show. I seen Cowboy Show's really blown up recently. Cammy, her channel, she's another person who is monetized in chat, doing amazing things. And then us smaller streamers, and one I want to give a special shout out to that I don't ever really talk to, but I do want to bring him on the show eventually, is Dash Monster. So if y'all have not seen Dash Monster out there, he's awesome. But Obi, you just brought up streamers and how, we come in and sometimes we do stuff and no one sees it and we think it's amazing. And sometimes we don't do anything and people think it's amazing. So I just want to say, like, it's kind of how it goes sometimes, but we're all in it together. So definitely feel you on that. And feel you on Cowboy. I know a lot of people think we're at odds, but we're really not.
You know what? I have to say this, and Cowboy, I'm sorry. I'm going to put you on the spot. I've had conversations with Cowboy about you, and I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to think I'm lying right now. That dude does nothing but sing your praises. He's like, man, Purple.
Oh, I see. He's a guy.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't talk bad about you. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. I know Cowboy could take it, and I'm just going to be honest with you. If he was talking bad, I would tell you. I would be like, yo, no. No, he does not. I promise you, he doesn't talk bad. He's like, yo, like you said a lot. He said the same thing. A lot of people think we're at odds. He's like, I'm not at odds with Purple. I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's not. And just because I heard it on someone else's channel one time, and I just want to say, I talked to Lo-Fi Monk earlier today. I have been really, really busy at work trying to, and a couple of people in work are in the chat today. The economy is bad, and I'm just trying to show my worth at work. So that I'm just being real. Yeah. Like that's what's going on. Like your girl might not have a job here, so like I'm just trying to do a sacrifice there.
I get it because I was like that with streaming. I was like, man, I think I'm gonna have to either stop or something because I took on this new job, and it's like, 3 months of training, cool. I'm not mad. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Because as much as I wanted to pay my bills, until that day happens, we got to provide, like it's still cold out there. Nobody wants to take a cold shower a cold, dark shower in the middle of winter.
Yeah, no, I tell you, yay. It is what it is. But no, yeah. So I don't know if it's a makeup. I look at y'all making a bigger thing out of it. No one said anything.
Look at whole thing, makeup and cosmetics. Purple Haze for president. Oh, so you're running for president in 2024, Purple. Tell us about it. Can I ask you what your platform is going to be? What are you running on? What are you campaigning on?
And so you talked to me. That's a harder pivot. You see that? So you see that? So with that said, where do you want to take your channel eventually? Now that you're growing, you have people coming up. Like I can do a hard pivot, and if he's a Hutch always says I'm difficult. Yes, that was a hard turn.
I'm not saying we're done, but we're gonna wrap this up.
Oh my God. Thank you, Bliss. I don't even know if I can run. If I go.
She's too young to run. You are correct, Rouster. She is too young to run. She can't run for another 12 years. We get it.
I just noticed that's a cuckoo clock in my mom's house.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just noticed that's a cuckoo clock.
Oh, man. Is it going off?
No, but I just noticed it. I was like, my gosh, what does my mom have? Go ahead.
Oh, man. No, honestly, I'm hoping, obviously, like the goal is with everybody. Well, I don't want to say everybody. Some people don't want to be monetized. I would love to be monetized. I'll tell you what would be like really, really cool. Somebody mentioned Fighting Cowboy earlier in the chat. I like Fighting Cowboy, and it's like really cool when you watch him where he was and like to where he is now. And like now he'll do a video. Literally, he will live stream and you go and pick, and it's like 3,000 views in like the first hour. And it's like, well, he just made his paycheck. That would be awesome. But I don't want video games to become a job. Like I'm starting to like the whole idea. So like yesterday and Tuesday was like a really good stream for me because like people came in and we got to discuss like things that were happening. Now I always try to stay away from like politics and stuff because I don't care if you're red or blue. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm not really gonna touch anything.
No, it's all about purple.
Yeah. So I do have a question for you. I was gonna ask you about that. I need to understand why the color purple. Porque. I'm sorry. Hablas español, mi amiga?
I can, but I'm not going to do it on this channel right now.
Okay, I understand. I was just going to ask you in Spanish, why the purple?
So, where are you going with your... I'm not going to ask.
Well, here's why I'm asking, because purple, it's funny. Purple happens to be my favorite color. So, I always lie and tell people my favorite color is clear, because, like, I think it's a dumb question. I really do. Like, what's your favorite color? Like, yes, if you know my favorite color is going to tell you everything you need to know about me. Like, hey, can you watch my kid? Hey, what's your favorite color? Oh, red. Oh, it's perfectly safe.
Yeah, I have actually mentioned this on stream before. Why For one, you can't talk about purple without talking about haze. You can't talk about haze without talking about purple. And you can't put those together without saying purple haze. And so if you understood that, and if you actually listened to my stream, you would actually probably know everything about me. And if you knew everything about me, then I wouldn't be purple haze. So that's therefore, like, that's why I can only, but I tell people this all the time on stream. Why
Chris Angel mind freaked me because I was following you and like now I'm lost. But I'm not mad at you. I thought it was because of Jimi Hendrix. I was hoping it was because of Jimi Hendrix. I thought you were like, yo, Jimi Hendrix is like the greatest guitarist ever. And Purple Haze.
Some people say it's Prince because they get it confused with Purple Rain. But
Purple Rain. Yo, you gotta admit when he was like, honey, I know, times are changing. Yo, that was like the best part of the song, right? Yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh, purple signifies so many things, but there's so many. Like, if you go look up, what I say is, what do you think it means?
I'm going with the Jimi Hendrix thing. It's to me, rock on. Yeah, I see you with the bandana and everything, and you're literally like, bow, bow, wow, wow, bow, wow, 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 wow. Then you step up to the mic and you're like, purple haze all in my brain. That's what I think you're doing.
So there is something about the song Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix that if you understand the history of that song, you maybe understand a portion of why I go by Purple Haze. But this is not my show, as I always say. It is about the guy in the title. Maybe for the holidays or my 1 year anniversary, I'll have someone interview me on the show, but I can't do that. Yeah, this is about you, Obi Rose. This is about you.
I'm gonna throw my name in the hat for the interview, but you have to give me the questions because I'm horrible with coming up with them. I'll just be like, yeah, so tell me your favorite time of the day. I'll start asking you like, no, what do you think about Joe Rogan's mud water? Like,
oh my gosh. And shout out to Dash Monster for changing his name for the 100th time. I swear every stream you change it I don't even know how to pronounce this one now. But I get AV and I cannot pronounce. Do Q&A purple with crowdsourced questions. Oh my gosh, Whit probably knows a lot. There's a couple of people in chat who know a lot about me, so I can't do too much. But so all right, so you want to get monetized. Obviously, I've already said it. I think you are one of the most entertaining people we have in the community. Like, every single time I go on your show, I am going to leave with a smile. You bring so much energy, Obi Rose, and I think it's all. Whether it's, sometimes I'll come in and it's just you going. And I'm like, how's there's only one person? So I will always show you love for that. In everything you do. And before I forget, because I know he's also on the channel, he will be following up for it with me. So Cammy, with any of my mods, Lo-Fi, if you're a mod, they are going to be doing another show after this talking about ghosts and conspiracies. So they're starting a new channel. It's him, SPG. Y'all want to learn about some ghosts? Go after this show because they're going to be doing an awesome job on that. What's up, Squids? So, but Obi, so you're on your way to getting monetized. You're on, like I said, I think you're phenomenal. You're going to continue to do great content. If there's one thing, and something I've been asking people who come on the show, right? Because all of these are just snapshots of where we are in our life right now while we're intersecting on this planet. What is one thing you want people to leave after listening to your interview?
Honestly, this is kind of a loaded question. So have you seen the movie Sing 2?
Sing, like SING, 2. Mm-hmm. Let's go with a no on that one.
Okay, that's cool. I'm not mad at you if you haven't seen
it. I have, but maybe I haven't. So let's go with no.
My kid makes me watch it, right? And I'm like, I'm not watching this, bro. You don't know nothing about music. You're 4. And it's funny how like little people can teach you such humbling lessons. And
we mean kids, right? Not like little adults, but kids.
Yeah, he's more like a little adult.
Okay, little adult.
Yeah, I'm raising a little. I'm raising a little adult. Yeah, he's so. But there's a song in that movie, right? And like I don't know all the words, but like I know it's like the wolf, and she like starts out and she's like, "Don't want it something broken hearted, da 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 da," right? And then she's like, "I can't hear you, I can't feel you now," and then she's like, "Wrapped in your regret." And I'm like listening to this one day, and I'm like, oh my God, does he know what she's saying? And like the chorus comes on, and she's like, I want to feel pride and pain. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so deep. And then she goes on and she's like, I don't want to waste one line. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to be the one to say it could have been me. And I'm driving him to school one morning, and I'm hearing this, and I'm like, I get it. And like the light bulb went off in my head. And it's like, yo, I don't want to waste. When people come to my channel, I don't want to waste any time. I don't want people to ever come there and feel like they can't get a laugh or they can't feel good, because life is such a burden and it's so hard. And for me, it's like, I don't want my voice to be, or I want my voice to be the last thing you hear if you're thinking about doing something negative to yourself. I have it's kind of a tough, not that it's tough to talk about, but I have a cousin, and she did the unthinkable, and it wasn't her fault. You know, she was going through something and she was being picked on and bullied on about it, and it sucked. And I'm like, damn, like life is but a vapor, right? Like we're here today, and like literally anything could happen. I'm sitting here having this interview with you and not being funny, but an airplane can fall out the sky and hit me, and people are like, oh, that doesn't happen. Oh yeah. Oh, you don't want to talk to me about if it does or doesn't happen, because I'm afraid to fly. And because I'm afraid to fly, I've looked up the statistics. You want to know what's crazy? It's happened twice, and 2 times is more than it needs for me. I ain't getting on no airplanes. But the point is not the airplane. The point is, I don't want anybody to have such a bad day that they do the unthinkable. I want people to always be able to come, and you know what? You may have a bad day at work, and I may be going off about Sonic, and that might make you laugh. Or you might actually join the Discord and say, yo, I just need to talk. Cool. Let's talk. You don't got to mention names. Let's talk. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. We all bleed red. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, gay. I don't care. What I care about is that thing that's right here, that heart. And that heart is what matters. We all matter. We all have something for somebody. We can all help somebody. And I just want to bring that to people. I want people to smile. I want them to laugh, because you never know. We're just like literally, we're one thought away from doing something crazy. We all are. We've all been there. If you live long enough, you'll find some hurt. You'll feel some hurt, whether it be in your own family, whether it be against your people who you thought was your best friends, whether it be on your job. Nothing is guaranteed. But I can tell you this, when you come to my channel, I'm going to make sure that you laugh. I'm going to make sure you smile. I'm going to make sure you have a good time. And if there's ever a time where I need to hang back and hang out in the thing and talk to somebody, I definitely will, because we need to be here for each other. We all need to grow together as a people and begin to understand each other's differences and who we are and why you feel a certain way and why this and why that, and not mock and make fun of. And that's just me in a nutshell. So
I love it. I love it, y'all. That is Obi Rose Kenobi. And if you ever if you ever go to it and leave this channel, and you already know, you go one way, you come out always better, more positive. So Obi Rose, if that is what you want us to leave with, I can tell you, I feel that every single time I go to your channel, and I feel that after this episode for sure, because this has been so fun for me. Chat, thank you all as well, everyone in chat. There is so many of y'all who came out and supported. Thank you again, especially during this holiday season. Sometimes it can be warm, but a lot of times it can be really cold in a quiet place. And so hopefully, if anything, this conversation has maybe let you realize that it doesn't necessarily need to be as quiet or as cold, because there is always going to be a community here for you, for whatever. And Obi Rose is one of those bright sparks of light that really bring warmth to this community. So thank you again, Obi Rose, for that.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you to you guys. You guys make it possible, and that's the beauty behind it.
Yeah, no, thank you. And like I said, Lo-Fi Monk, if he's around, will be doing a show later today on conspiracy theories. They're doing a new podcast, and they're going to be talking about ghosts. So Xbox International, Louis, I know you have some serious ghost stories. I don't know if you want to check it out, but for everyone else, you can definitely follow it there. And you all can find me every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the show, except for next week. Next week is actually going to start a little earlier. It's going to start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Why 7:30 p.m. Eastern? Because there's a big event in the gaming community that myself and my co-host Lo-Fi will be doing, and that is the Game of the Year Awards. So we're going to be doing live reactions next week, starting at 7:30, doing the entire thing. And if you can guess how many of Game of Year Awards that I got correct, I will be buying you a gift, a game of your choice on the platform of your choice. So please come by. Yes? I'll be right.
If I guess correctly, will you buy me Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on PlayStation 2? Just throwing it out there. That game is like $1,500.
We may talk about it. We may talk about it.
I'm just messing with you. Let's get that. Oh, wait, I do want to know though, like, this is gonna sound so like noobish. Where can I watch the Game Awards? Because G4 TV isn't a thing anymore, right?
Well, you can watch it on YouTube. You can also log on to the station for the Game Awards. But that's where I'll most likely be watching it on YouTube, streaming it. And because I'm not monetized, I don't care if I get a strike.
You know what's crazy, yo? I be thinking about that, right? Like, I be like, yo, I want to play a song right now so bad, but YouTube is going to strike me. And then I'd be like, but I'm not monetized, so forget you, YouTube. And you know what? I really be wanting to do it, but then next thing you know, I'm like, what happens if I do get monetized? Then I'm going to have to go back and edit this. I got the time to do it.
I'll worry about it then. But for now, this is always going to be a place for the community to talk. So that's what I'm doing next Thursday. And this Sunday, y'all know, y'all been following me. I've been playing The Devil in Me. Look, one person's already died. It's not my fault. That dude did not walk out of the fire. I did everything I could to save him. He's British. He did something dumb. Not my fault. But for everyone else, we're going to try to get them out of there for The Devil in Me. I don't know what happened. Once again, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and next Thursday. But if you want to follow me, follow my community tab. But with that said, Purple Haze, the proof is in the plane. And, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, when you game, what you game, what you're gaming on. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. So with that said, thank you all so much for coming by, and I'll see you next time. All right, later, y'all. Oh, let's see if I get it right.